Well, a warm welcome to Pittodrie. Yes, European football is back after its winter hibernation here on your ESPN screens, and we kick things off with a bang in the UEFA Cup. We've reached the first knockout round, and a real corker in store for you today. Aberdeen taking on Bayern Munich. I'm Adrian Healy with Janusz Michalek alongside. Janusz, first of all, we'll check in on the scoreboard from the other games that played yesterday in this UEFA Cup, and no problem for Everton as they travel to Norway to take on Brann.
No, they haven't had, and if you look at the only surprise, maybe Villarreal away to Zenit, although they're still obviously capable of getting that result back and going through this round for sure. But other than that, Adrian, not many surprises. Well done by Everton.
Well, this game tonight with so much history resounding. But talk about the game's impact in terms of where the teams are now. These are teams who inhabit very different spots in Europe, aren't they?
Well, it's a real gulf between the two teams. Just to think about it, that so many years ago they've won the Cup Winners' Cup by beating Bayern Munich. Obviously, it's significant with Sir Alex Ferguson, of course, going on to be very successful with Manchester United.
Well, echoes of 1983 perhaps in the air tonight at Pittodrie. We shall see. We'll bring you the team news and take you through to the first half kickoff next. Well, a warm welcome back to Pittodrie. Echoes of 1983 in the air tonight. Aberdeen, this is their 2008 version under Jimmy Calderwood, and plenty of injuries for him to deal with. He brings in two of the new winter signings into the starting lineup tonight. 18-year-old English midfielder Josh Walker and the Irish fullback Alan Mabry.
And Jamie Smith's going to be missing. And if you look at Bayern Munich, of course, a lot of players, Van Boyten, Van Bommel, Ribéry, and Oliver Kahn's missing. But still, when you look at that lineup, you have to think, we've talked about the gulf in football right now. Certainly a lot easier for Bayern Munich to replace some of the fallen stars. And we talked about Jamie Smith, obviously their top scorer in the UEFA Cup competition here. Darren Mackey will come in. Lee Miller, of course, is their leading scorer. So I suppose they're going to like the chances. And I think, if you look at Aberdeen and perhaps their form in the league, which hasn't been the best, all the problems that they're having so far, but this is a special night. Not just the fact of what happened, obviously, when they won the Cup Winners' Cup, but I just think that, again, it's a European night, and as you see it here, it's going to be a little bit different. And I don't think you can look at their form in the league round given this game, and I think they can get something out of this. I really do.
And Jimmy Calderwood does too. The Aberdeen boss in your picture, Otmar Hitzfeld, is opposite number, trying to go out on a high note. He's already announced, of course, he's leaving Bayern Munich this summer. His replacement will be Jurgen Klinsmann, but can he go out with a European trophy? Bayern seeking their first European trophy since the Champions League they won back in 2001. So the stage is set for what promises to be a riveting night of UEFA Cup football. The Dons, the red shirt of Aberdeen, going from right to left in this first half. As Janusz mentioned, they've been in very patchy form since the turn of the year. Immediately on the front foot here, and appeals for a handball. Well, Aluko swung in the cross, and some pretty strong appeals from players and crowd. Referee tonight, Iturralde Gonzalez, remained unmoved.
I'll tell you, suspicious to say the least. Aluko with that teasing cross, I tell you, even if it wasn't stopped, I like the look of that coming in. Runs were being made. I have a second look on that one.
The state has been looming large in the calendar for Aberdeen, hasn't it, since the moment they qualified for the knockout rounds back in December. Trying to forget their recent patchy form, which includes a 4-1 home defeat here to Dundee United in the Scottish League Cup, a 5-1 home defeat here to Celtic just this past weekend. The opposition simply doesn't get any bigger on the European stage. The whistle has gone this time. Schweinsteiger impeded.
A bit of a push from the back, no question. Schweinsteiger just trying to do a good job in protecting that ball.
Free kick swung in, but met by Considine. Picked up in midfield, and Aluko is on his way again. It's Jensen across to meet him, but Aluko fending off two challenges. And Mabry getting involved. Nothing eventually coming of it. So Tony Aluko on loan from Birmingham City.
Well, energy and adrenaline right now, and I think if Aberdeen can continue tempo like this, obviously they're going to come after Bayern Munich a little bit, and I think, as I mentioned, that could be to their advantage right now. You see Aluka switching from left to right, being dangerous already in the first 2 minutes of the game, and for as long as Bayern Munich doesn't get to settle in their normal rhythm, I think Aberdeen is in for a game. At least in this leg, I think they really have a chance.
Bayern have opened up 2008. Remember, they've only played a couple of games after the long winter break. And a 2-1 victory away from home against Hansa Rostock, and drew 1-1 against Werder Bremen in the Bundesliga just this past weekend. Flick-on didn't quite come off for Darren Mackie. Michaelis and Lucio just about scrambling the ball away. Now can the big guns up front go to work? Tony and closer. Time it out in top, who sees his cross charge down. And Christian Lell has done well here for Bayern Munich. Well, so close to the opener. Zander Diamond on the line was the man who intervened, and Altin Top was denied.
And here's always that danger, as you see here. Actually, Lell getting around the defender very, very easily as that ball is being cut back. Nobody really pressuring the ball here. And once again, they got away with one here, and I think that's what's going to be important. It's good to press.
And the corner is delivered with much telling quality. Aberdeen able to clear their lines for now. The danger only temporarily removed, though, as Schweinsteiger settled on the ball. Not for long, because Aluko was across. He has been everywhere in the early stages. Sone Aluko. He's Andreas Ottel through the Bayern Munich youth system.
Well, here's the possibility of the handball. I don't think there are any questions about that one right there. And early in the game, the referee didn't see it, and you see Ottel's the guilty party on that occasion.
It's almost as though he headed it onto his own hand. Jamie Langfields. Dundee goalkeeper in his third season with the Dons. Awkward bounce for Lee Mayer to deal with, and as a result, Bayern Munich have it back. And Luca Toni did use his hands in controlling the ball.
Clearly here as he's trying to get around Diamond right there. Him to the ball, and the pitch played a bit of a role there. It was awkward for him on that bounce.
Top scorer in the season's competition so far, Luca Toni, with 6 goals in the UEFA Cup, level with Henrik Larsson in that department. Zé Roberto, who scored over the weekend against Werder Bremen. Well to fend off a posse of Aberdeen midfielders. Altin Top combining with Lau. And ball seeking out closer. Josh Walker, the young midfielder, who's just joined on loan from Middlesbrough. Gave the ball away. Important man tonight for Aberdeen, Lee Miller, wearing number 16.
Once again, Schweinsteiger switching positions a little bit, trying to protect it from, I'm not sure how much contact was there. I don't think Schweinsteiger saw Lee Miller coming over.
If they are to inflict the unexpected upon Bayern Munich, they'll look to Lee Miller as the most likely source for that. He's their top scorer in the league. There's his strike partner, Darren Mackie, with good work. Miller looking for space and nearly carves him out. A rare moment of panic at the back from Bayern Munich, but Di Michaelis got away with one. Aberdeen doing enough to worry Germans early on.
Absolutely, is that action right there as the ball comes in. Lee Miller looking for an extra pass. I'm not sure why he was looking for Barry Nicholson there. Perhaps should have had to go from in that situation, but a bit rattled, I think, especially in the back, this Bayern Munich team. I think in the midfield, you know, eventually settled, but clearly the attacks from Aberdeen have paid dividends so far as you see it here. A bit of a pressure on the ball. Here's that extra pass that I'm not absolutely sure needed to happen. It's always going to be difficult to squeeze that through.
Lucio, who eventually got the ball away. That was Lee Miller's clever footwork. You mentioned history. 25 years ago it was that Aberdeen confounded all expectations by winning the World Cup Winners' Cup under Sir Alex Ferguson. He wasn't Sir Alex back then, but it was just the start of his managerial career. They beat Bayern Munich along the way, Janusz. Epic quarter-final here. And that as Elton Top kills it in. It was Jamie Langfield with a confident take. Through his defenders, a power of good.
Well, Elton Top looking there, as you mentioned, Langfield coming in. Very, very experienced, obviously. Right there, reading the play and the cross very well.
Langfield has played in all 6 UEFA Cup games this season so far for Aberdeen. Closer. His effort charged down, now the bounce. Helping out Darren Mackey. He had to do it all by himself. As I mentioned, Aberdeen missing their top scorer in the competition this season was Jamie Smith. And their troubles are at the other end here as Elton Top makes inroads. Away by Aluko. And a fizzing drive, which Langfield does well to palm behind. Christian Lell is the player he denied.
Well, Christian Lell with plenty of time and space, as you see it here. No pressure on the ball whatsoever. I'll tell you what, that's a good save right there to the side. Could have been surprised. You see, look at Tony just waiting to pounce if that ball went in front of Langfield.
Deep corner and an unchallenged header. Lucio arriving beyond the far post. To no avail. Audrey. They've been starved of a European night like this for quite some time up in the northeast of Scotland. This campaign in Europe, but since 2002-2003 they finished third in their group to progress to the knockout rounds at Aberdeen. They won their final game of the group 4-0 here against Copenhagen to progress.
Let's see here what happens. I'm not sure that needed to go against Luca Toni. The only one interested in really going for that ball. Considine just came underneath him in that situation.
Avery, the Irish fullback, just picked up on loan from Leicester City, curling the ball forward towards Mackey. Did enough to win a corner.
Yeah, that might have been a foul there. It's a dangerous play. As you see Demi Kelly's coming over. Let's see, here's the touch. Clearly this is going to be a free kick from outside the penalty area.
Demi Kelly's the Argentine playing centre-back alongside Lucio. Opportunity knocks perhaps for Aluko. Oh, he served it in with real promise, and all it needed was a touch. The decisive one came from the Bayern defence. Curled back in, hopefully. The bounce is awkward again for Lucio. It's a rock-hard pitch here, and the ball is certainly bouncing fairly high. It seems to be causing the Bayern defenders a fair degree of discomfort.
That, and I think the direct approach, and not just the fact that they're direct, but they're very quick in moving the ball. And I think, you know, the back four of Bayern Munich right now are not tight in their formation in the back, pushing forward a little bit, and they're finding some spaces behind the back four right there. As you see, these balls are causing Bayern Munich all kinds of problems.
The whistle has gone into Ralde Gonzalez quickly in to clamp down youngsters, plenty of heroes from 25 years ago.
Again,
tonight.
I'm sure if he was too eager on that earlier play, if it was called, I thought it was a fair play once again. Very, very particular in the last few minutes of this game.
From Lee Miller, but the gift for Ottel. Line's broken for Josh Walker here, an 18-year-old leading Aberdeen forward. Luko is surrounded. Schweinsteiger digging in and winning a free kick. Lell. Just trying to perhaps take some of the wind out of Aberdeen's sails here. It's a risky clearance from Jamie Langfield. He had to keep it in play. Kind of appreciating the silky footwork there from Lee Miller. Aberdeen bench tonight. Steve Lovell is a familiar figure to watchers of English and Scottish football. Many more names, of course, on the Bayern Munich bench, including their new Brazilian centre-back, the 18-year-old Moreno.
Schlaghoff and Lukas Podolski. I suppose there are plenty of teams out there that would like their services. Who can come in at any time and change the game, although Podolski has struggled his tenure at Bayern Munich. First came on the scene with FC Cologne, and I think it was much better there.
Now a long-range effort. Tony is absolutely distraught. He wanted the ball played to him, but Altintop only had eyes for goal here.
Well, he's made up his mind, and he had the space. Not a lot of pressure here, and I can understand the frustration of Luca Toni, but I'm not sure if Altintop needs to play that ball. He just asked for better quality on that shot, but I think he's got to take it from there 18, 19 yards away.
Altintop, who moved from Schalke over the summer. More UEFA Cup football coming away immediately following the conclusion of this game. Bolton Wanderers against Atletico Madrid. Altintop. The slide, Luca Toni is able to retrieve the situation. No foul, though. It was Josh Walker who was involved. Now at the other end, it's Mackie. Was he brought down? Referee letting play go.
Well, I think he's missed it on both accounts. Certainly he's missed it on that second one. As you see Lucio coming in, I think Maki clearly got behind him right there in between the two defenders. It looked very, very promising, but the referee didn't want to know anything about it.
That's the quarter of an hour mark at Pittodrie as Christian Lell makes his way forward. It's not a bad ball to pick him out either. At the near post. Jamie Langfield had it all covered. Ball had actually just gone out of play in any case.
Well, here's that play by Lucio. I think he catches him here. Really contact right there. Nothing cynical really, but in possession of the ball in that situation, Maki, and I think that's got to be called. That was the one just before. It's the same one. Reaching for the ball, gets it, but I think gets him off balance just by contact, and that's a foul as well.
Were in the Champions League last year. Been in the Champions League for most years since that competition's formation. Reached the quarter-finals. They finished fourth in the Bundesliga last year. Found themselves playing in this competition. It's behind the run of Altintop.
Clearly see on the right-hand side, and especially left-hand side, all that space. Lee Mayer, I think, has got to do a much better job. You see Luca having to come back on just about every play. And with Christian Lell not afraid to go forward, I think it seems to me, at least in the first 16 or 17 minutes, that may be a weak link for Aberdeen, and I think they have to take care of it. Maybe Lee Mayer does not need to pinch in as much as he has been so far.
can hear Jimmy Calderwood, the Aberdeen manager, talking about watching tapes of Bolton Wanderers' 2-2 draw against Bayern Munich back in the fall as inspiration for his side. I think they've been watching that again and again. It was back in the group stages. His direct approach that night really paid dividends, and Aberdeen done reasonably well in producing a carbon copy of that so far.
Of course, it has to be effective when you play directly like this, because that probably means that you can't establish that rhythm. Bayern Munich will not have this sort of possession that can pick you apart a little bit. And if you want to look at somebody like Arsenal, that often struggles against the likes of Bolton because of their possession game, and I think that's effective. And I think you should play that like that. You add a play to your strengths, and I think for Aberdeen, so far, at least in the attacking zone, it has worked.
This is the first knockout round. 32 teams remaining in the competition. Hitzfeld hoping to be the last one standing come the City of Manchester Stadium in the final, which is the 14th of May. Roberto. Kickstart another Bayern move. Klose has done well to prod that through for Schweinsteiger. There are options presenting themselves in the middle, but Schweinsteiger couldn't get the cross past Zander Diamond. Zander Diamond, the absolute linchpin of the Aberdeen defence, the captain of the Scottish under-21 side. Quite a task tonight, isn't he, on Luca Toni? That's the flick on and facing his own goal. Nicely hooked away in the end by Lee Miller.
Well, he certainly has got the responsibility of marking him, but on that last play, he's done well just to come over. As you see that ball just being flicked on, nobody really interested on the far post. So Lucio kind of creeping in a little bit. And last play again, two Aberdeen players doing the same job, pinching in. Was very easy for Bayern Munich to get through on that left-hand side. And of course, as you mentioned, Diamond doing a great job in anticipating that.
Josh Walker. He settled into his role alongside Scott Severin tonight, the 18-year-old. In Newcastle, but belongs to Middlesbrough.
If you look at Derek Young and Foster missing, obviously it's a little bit different to settle in your first game like this on this occasion. He's done a decent job, although if there is a spot that I think they have to pay attention is just there. Scott Severin and Josh Walker, I think they got to play a little bit higher up the pitch and make sure that Bayern doesn't build from the back.
Bell's throw eludes Luca Toni. It's Lucio who steps in commanding fashion and drives on. Lucio. Oh, that was a shot, but it almost turned into a pass for Luca Toni. Can Aberdeen thrive on the counter? Just trying to overstretch a little. Josh Walker with the final pass. Zé Roberto is in to clean things up and set Bayern on their way again. Oh, it's a burst through the middle, and Zé Roberto so nearly making things happen there for the visitors.
But again, look at the left side here. The ball never ended up there, and Zé Roberto maybe a bit of a heavy touch, but once again, out in top free. Zé Roberto continuing his run right there. And you see Mayer in your picture having to pinch in too much, and I think that balance is missing a little bit. It may have to be Aluka to come and help out, but I just think the adjustment has to be made in the center of the defense a little bit, and somebody just giving Mayer a shout to go wider.
And Nicholson have switched flanks with a fair degree of regularity. This is Aluko. Early touch from Lee Miller. Top scorer for Aberdeen in the Scottish Premier League with 8 goals. Aberdeen currently 5th in that competition. sitting some 23 points behind league leaders Rangers. Bayern content to play the waiting game for now. Lucio. Flick on from Tony. Has to be the more explosive combinations in all of European football, potentially. Luca Toni and Miroslav Klose. Enough height and power to contend with, but Diamond does just that. He needed the help of Lee Mayer to get it away, but this is persistent pressure now from Bayern.
Well, this is the dangerous time we've talked about. As you see, the rhythm clearly established by Bayern Munich, and I think Aberdeen at the moment defending deeper and deeper in their own half. You see Maki here and Miller having to come back all the way to the midfield to look for balls.
Luca Toni scored goals wherever he's been. The 30-year-old Fiorentina and Palermo, his main stops before the summer move to Bayern Munich. This is Diamond. Oh, it's a Luco in a little pocket of space. He couldn't bring it down quickly enough, but he tees up. Oh, it's wonderful. Josh Walker for Aberdeen. Super piece of play from a Luco to tee up Walker, and what a moment for the 18-year-old.
And Adrian, what quality here. Ben, I'm not sure if this was designed that way. There was a little bit of chaos in which way that ball came around in the 18-yard area, but Aluko really presence of mind to drop it down. And I'll tell you what a quality finish, knowing exactly what needed to be done. And here's that bit of a chaos. I'm not sure where these balls are going. Certainly not. That's not what you want to do. Aluko, great technique to bring it down. And look at the technique on that shot, knowing that he had to bend it around Rensing here. Once again, that's where they're fortunate. That pass right there. But look at the touch from Aluko. Drops it down, and look at that, on the string to that far post. No chance for Rensing.
Well, Josh Walker, who just before Christmas was playing his league football with Bournemouth in the third tier of English football, has just beaten Michael Rensing with the Bayern Munich goal to give Aberdeen an improbable lead here at Pittodrie, but you have to say, a fairly good value for that lead. The sort of football they've displayed in the first 24 minutes here. There's two 18-year-olds combining as well, as Bayern look to hit back immediately. I have to give a lot of credit to Aluko for his composure in that situation. Strange hesitancy on the part of the Bayern defence at Janusz. They allowed him to bring it down and decide what he was going to do.
No, and I'll tell you, they've been hesitant from the beginning of the game, as we saw. They've been bothered by the directness of play, and perhaps are taking Aberdeen a little bit for granted.
Oh, Tony has done well for Alton Top. Wow. Miroslav Klose will feel he should have brought his side back on level terms immediately there.
He was, and once again on the left-hand side, plenty of room to get that ball in. Pressure's coming from one of the Aberdeen defenders, and I think that was just enough to make Klose uncomfortable in that situation. All he needed was a touch, but he knew he had to lift that ball a little bit. I think he sensed it, that there was a sliding tackle coming in from behind.
And Josh Walker, who grew up in the northeast of England, has just made a real name for himself in the northeast of Scotland. Luco and Walker, two players who aren't even permanent members of Aberdeen, both on loan from English clubs. They've combined to give this scoreline a fairly fairy tale look to it at this stage.
Well, these nights brings everything special about you. That's why I felt that in the beginning. There's no sense in looking in your form, because how else do you explain being hammered at home by Celtic 5-1? Of course, there's plenty of game left here, so we don't want to make any assumptions here as that ball's being dropped. And once again, just going around Rensing here, probably the only spot where he could have beaten the goalkeeper there, but you can clearly sense it from the supporters and the attitude of the players. They think that this is special. After all, it's European night against a very special opponent.
Jimmy Calderwood in seventh heaven, and probably 8th, 9th and 10th heaven at the moment. I should mention that Oliver Kahn isn't playing in goal tonight for Bayern Munich. He actually went down with the flu on the flight from Germany to the northeast of Scotland, so he was sent home immediately, and Rensing in his place. Schweinsteiger couldn't win the header. It's fallen for Walker. They may not let him go back after that contribution. Appeals for handball as Nicholson took that down in his stride, and Nicholson wondering where the decision was. Marcel Janssen was the player he was working against.
He felt he got a second chance here. That touch wasn't the best here. Maybe a handball here, as you see Janssen slips here. He got to the ball. Of course, we will not get to see what really happened.
Nicholson. His third year with Aberdeen. Dunfermline midfielder. About history and course of 1983, resounding loudly around the ground, but perhaps not now. There it is, the equaliser. It didn't take Bayern long, and Miroslav Klose doing what he does so well, applying a deadly finishing touch.
Oh, it turns on you quickly, doesn't it? And once again, I think there might have been a chance for Mayer, who I think has been struggling from the beginning. As that ball gets dropped here, look at that touch right here. Somebody's got to come over. Well, I'll tell you, there's one player. Mayer was maybe a little bit too far, but nevertheless never reacted to that. And here's that first run. It's always going to be difficult to outjump Luca Toni there, but the run from Klose is special. That diagonal run, recognizing the fact that the ball's going to be slipped. A little bit late here on that play. There's no question on Diamond. Didn't read it as well as Miroslav Klose here. And now back, this is the real quality of Bayern Munich. They didn't get rattled. They continue to plug away. It'll be interesting to see the reaction of Aberdeen at this moment.
Well, that was the Luca Toni Miroslav Klose partnership in a nutshell, wasn't it? Classic striking, the flick on, and the deadly finish. Now Aluko trying to respond. Approaching the half-hour mark, and already absorbing UEFA Cup tie here. Aberdeen getting themselves in front, but the quality of the Germans allowed them to find an immediate response. This is Roberto. From Christian Lell, curling it in dangerously, looking for a soft spot, and well, there was one. As the poked effort on goal came from Klose, but Langfield able to smother.
Yeah, and Langfield, as you see, Roberto hesitates here. As that ball goes, he comes, then he stays. That clearance should have been much, much better. In the end, good save. I'm not sure how much Langfield knew about that, as that ball's just being played towards him. And I tell you what, if that goes anywhere left or right, it's 2-1 Bayern Munich.
It was Andrew Considine who was almost left exposed there. Bayern certainly didn't have things all their own way in the group stages. They had that 2-2 draw against Bolton. They were also held by Braga. A narrow win away from home against Red Star Belgrade, but still did enough to finish top of Group F. Schweinsteiger leaving a mark there on Aberdeen goal scorer Josh Walker.
And just as that ball is being released, you see Bastian Schweinsteiger a little bit late on that tackle, apologizing immediately.
Janssen able to hook the ball away from the Bayern penalty area. Luca Toni couldn't maintain possession. Aberdeen running into trouble in the shape of Zé Roberto. And Tony, it was a high foot, and Zander Diamond there who he caught. Diamond going low to try and meet the ball in the air.
Or did he catch him? I'm not absolutely sure as that was coming over from halting tap. Let's see what happens here. I'm not sure there's any contact. It looked more dangerous than it actually was here. It could be dangerous play, but if you look at the defender going down, I suppose that could have been called the other way, because he's put himself in a dangerous situation.
Jamie Langfield hoisting it forward. Maybury. Seeing his pass down the left-hand flank cut out, and Zé Roberto has really been all action in the Bayern midfield. Otto has done well. Zé Roberto is in striking distance, and, well, only manages to find the side netting.
What a great probing ball from Otto here. As you see, Zé Roberto have cherished his chances from this distance. What if that maybe goes to the far post? It's 2-1 Bayern Munich right now, but waiting for that ball to settle a little bit. And as you see it here, still not missing by much in this situation, but I think it was that early ball from Otto that unlocked that run, really. Clearly you can see the momentum has shifted about 10 minutes ago anyway. Look at Aberdeen, Adrian. I think it's all about this game, really, especially now with Bayern Munich scoring away from home. I think they'll cherish the fact that they can get a good result here, because it's always going to be an uphill battle for them when they go back to Munich.
25 years ago, they got a 0-0 draw in Munich. Came back here and won the return 3-2. Have to do it the other way around this time if they're going to cause a similar sort of upset. Say, if anything, it would be almost more of an upset this time around. The club's relative strengths. This is an opportunity, perhaps, inside the Bayern penalty area. Mackie is feeling that he was impeded. And he came back to try and make amends, and fouled Christian Lau.
Count from behind, very, very dangerous. Let's see if he gets him here. Oh, I'll tell you what. I'm not sure if he's going to see a yellow card. Clearly, at the very least, this is a yellow card. Just lunging himself from behind. Very, very fortunate that he hasn't seen himself in the book.
Ball forward. Any dividends for the Bayern Munich goal? Not this time. Miller was tripped, but quickly back up on his feet and finding a Luco. He's looked nimble and lively, hasn't he? So now Luco.
He clearly has made an impression, working his socks off at the moment.
Oh, he's done well here. Needed the last man back to intervene.
Well, as you mentioned, very, very lively. He's been left alone for the most part. Look at this, 3 defenders to deal with. At the very end, he gets something out of it, away from his own goal. Dangerous situation. Tried to go inside here. And obviously, you see Otto coming over, reading that play. Couldn't have known that the pressure was coming here.
I think Lucio will be taking too kindly to being nutmegged there. It's not convincingly away. Bring it down and head for the byline. Just overcooked it a little. Scott Severin. He's one of Aberdeen's most experienced European competitors. And long spell with Hearts. Severin playing his 14th game in European competition tonight. Zé Roberto is the most experienced of the starters for Bayern. He's playing his 69th. the Bavarian Giants. Now closer. He's in the clear. It's a pretty straightforward approach, wasn't it, from Bayern Munich? Just the diagonal run again from closer.
Yeah, once again, difficult angle, sandwich between the two defenders. Had to wait for that ball to come down. So I think he's done well, considering if you look at that angle and the pressure coming. You see Langfield here knowing fully well that ball was going to go over the crossbar.
It's as though Bayern Munich have been able to adjust their game and start to play a more direct game themselves.
I think, you know, and as usual, possession is everything, you know, for as long as that ball stays in the air and you have the fighting spirit of Aberdeen and putting pressure, I think they can get something out of it. But at some point, you have to have the ability to keep the ball for some spells, be it, 30 seconds, a minute, just to make sure you can run the way they have been in the first 20 minutes and non-stop. And I think that, you know, the quality goes to Bayern Munich, which shouldn't be a big surprise. But the game, of course, still in the balance.
This is Di Michaelis. To Janssen, who's made that left back spot for the German national team. His personal property recently. Di Michaelis at full stretch, and came up not only with the win in the duel, but throw-in in his favour too. Rensing has had to exhibit real patience behind Oliver Kahn. Just a rare lull in the tempo here. It's been a fast-paced first half. Top and Ottel in tandem. Roberto to shrug off Considine. The Aberdeen defence snaps shut.
Here's the perfect example of that. You can't play those long balls without knowing that there's some sort of support. Even if that ball gets to Mackie in that situation, he still has to wait for support. And I just think sometimes you need those shorter passes to keep possession and make sure you get 2 or 3 players up.
Zonkel. Everything's awkward for Aberdeen. Schweinsteiger. Andreas Ottel. Stabbed away by Considine, but again only as far as Schweinsteiger.
What an important last 5 minutes before halftime for Aberdeen, obviously.
Maybe the two of them to deal with Luca Toni, it so often does.
Just got to make sure they don't concede right now, and I think they can readjust a little bit at halftime. Because at this point, I think that midfield is way too far back right now. They have to push up. They have to have the faith and the trust in the back four. After all, there's 4 players to mark just 2. And I know that sometimes easier said than done, but if you have Joshua Walker and Scott Severin coming back as well, that creates that hole in the midfield that you can clearly see right now every time Bayern Munich has possession.
Oh, this is a Luco bursting through the centre channels, and he's done it! The 2 18-year-olds have hit the jackpot for Aberdeen. Luco simply storming down the centre and dispatching with fine relish.
Well, he deserves something out of this game. He's been superb. We've talked about his work rate, working his socks off to be sure, but there's a little bit of quality. You see that flick from Maki, perfect. Bad defending, as you see. That ball splits 2 or 3 Bayern Munich players, stepping up a little bit. Very direct style right now. Something that's worked for Aberdeen is that ball being moved on right here. Look at Demichelis here, just all at sea, no cover whatsoever, and the quality from Aluka to just get a touch on that ball. I thought maybe he needed to take the shot here. Just brings that ball up, waits for it to come down, and in the end really squeeze it in, but he won't really care. 2-1 at the moment.
What a story is unfolding at Pittodrie. The 2 on-loan players, the 2 18-year-olds, have both found a way to beat Michael Rensing. And credit the resiliency of this Aberdeen side. In front, pegged back, under the cosh a little. And here they are. You said it, Janis. What an important 5 minutes before the break. Well, Aberdeen have certainly laid down a marker.
Well, against the round of play, I didn't expect them. I was just hoping for Aberdeen, if I could, that they were going to obviously make this a game, because it looked to me that Bayern Munich were going to score the second at any moment. And against the round of play, the counter-attack's been working for them. And it's been down to Aluko, because he's the only one at this stage that's got the pace and has got the ability to take players on, and really has got the confidence.
He's been everywhere in the first half. Suddenly Aluko, and continues to be. Aluko again! Well, Rensing, mighty relieved to see that just go the other side of the post.
It really is, and as you see it here, 1-against-1, Demichelis, just one touch gets rid of him. And maybe that explains the fact that Bayern Munich are not firing on all cylinders, not just in Bundesliga, but in this game here. And Rensing didn't know much about that, just missing by inches here, Aluko.
With real belief here. And now they're up against the cream of the crop in terms of European football, but commitment and application has been first rate.
Let's see what Josh. Yeah, I just didn't see that. I think it was more of a reaction there of going down rather than the actual foul.
Lucio, the nod on towards closer. Temporary heart-stopping moment deep in the Aberdeen penalty area.
Yeah, but same sort of play once again, and I think Aberdeen have got to figure this out very clearly. Those long balls going to Luca Toni, he knocks it down. So at some point, obviously, you have to challenge the initial one, but you got to make sure that you keep going with the runners. And in that case, Miroslav Klose making that run constantly. I think Aberdeen guilty of ball watching on this occasion once again.
Bayern weren't behind for long last time. Can they conjure up another response? The dying embers of the first half. Out in top. Lel. Victimised by a splendid challenge.
Challenge was good. There's nothing wrong here, unless there was a delayed offside flag maybe on that initial pass, because I can't think of anything that happened here. Seems to me that Aberdeen will have the ball, so I can imagine that when that ball went from inside out to Lel, he must have been in an offside position.
We're in first half stoppage time. And the Pataudry faithful, you can see them all there at the beach end, way to the right, and just lapping this up. That was a bit of a mess of the clearance. Diamond has been called out here, and Aberdeen in some trouble. It was Jamie Langfield who put Diamond in hot water there. Cross swung in. Considine away, fired back in, and deflected behind for a corner. Andreas Othel.
Oh, that could have gone just about anywhere, and good decision, quick thinking. As you see that ball maybe not clear as far as it should have been, takes a deflection. Langfield reads it pretty well, but I tell you what, maybe with a little bit more pace on this one and a little bit more direction, Bayern could have been on board. But at halftime, Adrian, what a surprise.
Well, memories of 1983 swirling around this stadium as a most unlikely scenario has unfolded. Goals from Josh Walker and Sonny Aluko. There's the reply from Miroslav Klose, sandwiched in between. Aberdeen 2, Bayern Munich 1 is our scoreline after 45 minutes. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back. This is the scene at Pataudry, up on the northeast coast of Scotland, where Bayern Munich have travelled. And after 45 minutes, it's not the script they would have written for this one. They are trailing by 2-1 to Aberdeen in this UEFA Cup first knockout round. First leg encounter. Adrian Healy with Janis Mihalik alongside. Let's look back at the key moments of the half. And early pressure for Bayern, which really didn't come to much. Shot from long range, producing a fine save from Langfield. Christian Lel was the provider. But then It was Aberdeen who took command of the game. This is how it happened. Luca was able to settle and had a chance to lay off for Josh Walker, and he did the rest.
Well, Agent, so much quality in this setup. As you see, the central defender at the time and heavily involved in that play. A little bit of luck in the setup as you see that ball being bragged, but there's nothing lucky about this quality here and dropping that ball, just keeping it alive. And look at Josh Walker just bending that ball around the goalkeeper here. Look at it. He's got 2, 3, maybe 4 players just going to the outside. Look at Rensing desperately trying to get to that. No chance whatsoever.
A classy finish indeed from the 18-year-old. But Bayern's response was very nearly swift. Miroslav Klose perhaps should have done better from close range. Only succeeding in steering a shot over the top, but he'd have more luck a few minutes later.
Oh, then Lucio plays that ball. Look at Luca Toni, just knocks it down. Good diagonal run and a perfect finish from Klose. We really have seen this on 2 or 3 occasions in the first half. That seems to be working, and I think Aberdeen's got to read it once again. Look at Luca Toni. He knows the run's going to be made. He just wants to get a touch on it. And you see just Klose pouncing on that ball here. Leaves the goalkeeper at absolutely no chance on the bounce here. Plenty of power. From that distance, almost impossible to save.
Almost a dose of their own medicine for Aberdeen, wasn't it, with the direct football? It could have been even worse for them a couple of minutes later. Langfield had to stand tall there to deny Klose. And then on the run was Zé Roberto. Probably should have done a little better.
Well, I think so. That was a good initial ball by Otto just to find that little avenue there. And once again, here comes another individual effort. Look at that. Great touch there by Maki. Gets another touch and leaves no doubt.
A wonderful composure, wasn't it, from the 18-year-old Sone Aluko. Initially, Lucio was caught out of position. Di Michaelis was left stranded. And Aluko burying beneath the despairing hand of Michael Rensing to improbably restore Aberdeen's half-time advantage. Bayern Munich, well, those statistics looking a little lopsided. The balance of play didn't really suggest that Bayern Munich outshot Aberdeen by a 3-1 margin.
No, they were the better team. I don't remember 12 shots, maybe 12 attempts somewhere in there, but really, you know, maybe 5 or 6 that were significant or meaningful.
In terms of possession of the ball, as you can see, Aberdeen actually shaded Bayern Munich in that department. So good value perhaps for their first half lead here. Can they maintain it in the second half? All will be revealed. Well, the beauty of cup football is starkly evident tonight at Pittodrie. Aberdeen, 5th place in the Scottish Premier League and losers of their last 2 home games by a combined total of 9 goals to 2. Here they are, upsetting all the odds and ahead of the German juggernaut known as Bayern Munich by 2 goals to 1 after 45 minutes. So glad you could join us tonight on ESPN as European club football returns after the winter break. Adrian Healy with Janusz Michalek alongside, and I wonder what Jimmy Calderwood might have been saying to his Aberdeen troops at halftime. What do you do at this stage? You're really a quarter of the way through the tie, aren't you? You have an improbable lead, but do you try and protect what you have and take something to Bayern Munich, or do you go for broke?
No, I think he recognized the dangers that Bayern Munich possesses, and it was clearly seen on 2 or 3 occasions where it was just, you know, maybe touch away from going down right there. And I think against the run of play, he's got the goal, and I think he realizes that he's going to have to put some pressure on this Bayern Munich team, because really that's what got them into this place here. And I think just sitting back is just asking for a disaster there. I still feel that this is one game. I really think that maybe this is the game that they have to take something out of it. I still think that Bayern Munich has way too much quality in the second game, regardless of what happens here, unless Aberdeen scores additional 1 or 2 goals, maybe, you know, leaving here 4-1. That would give him some hope to just go for broke and defend in Munich. But at this stage, I think they're going for this results to obviously make the supporters feel much better, because they have been struggling as of late.
Well, it looks like it's going to be the visitors who are to blink first for the first change of the game. Aberdeen will be looking towards the home end, if you will, the beach end away to your right as we look.
Not really a big surprise to see defender coming in. We've talked about the problems that the back four of Bayern Munich has had in the first half, and really a limited amount of attacks, really, or meaningful attacks. And I'm just not sure what's going to happen. Which maybe Janssen coming off.
Philip Lahm is on. We can tell you that. We'll try and clear up that substitution for you as soon as we have all the information. Oh, good work from Lee Miller. Here's as though Lahm has replaced Christian Lell in the Bayern Munich lineup for the second half.
I thought Lell was pretty positive. Maybe Janssen struggled a little bit more. More attacks came on that side, in my opinion.
Aberdeen have a decent record against German opposition in the European competition. They've won 5 games in 18 meetings. All 5 of their wins have come at home here at Pittodrie. They've only lost once to a German side here. Bayern Munich, winners of this UEFA Cup back in 1996. And almost permanent residency amongst the realms of the Champions League clubs since then. It was actually Marcel Janssen. Our apologies, did make way for Philip Lahm. We knew it was one of the fullbacks. Digging in, but it's Bayern are able to make their way forward.
As you see here, Janssen is on the pitch, so clearly
there is some confusion. I think we can safely say that.
I think it justifies our comments here, because I did think that he was on the pitch when I took a look initially.
Lucio, it was his long balls at times provided Bayern Munich with real attacking thrust in the first half. So it led to their goal. Lahm. Tony going down, and Sedine, actually was Altintop, who was the player fouled. Sedine giving away a free kick. Altintop up to take it himself. That's just a roll at short. Lahm gives him time to serve in the cross. Lucio. At times Lucio does add to the attack with great effect, doesn't he?
He does normally, but in that last situation really had nowhere to go, surrounded by 3 Aberdeen players. Maybe if he had to go from that distance, that would have been a better situation. Just was trying to force himself into there.
Schweinsteiger, frustratingly for Bayern Munich, trapped offside.
I tell you what, it must have been close in that situation here. As you see, Aberdeen just by a whisker here. Question about that. Maybe they just needed to pull up a little bit quicker, just to leave no doubt about this, because I think in the next situation this would have been dangerous. Of course, plenty of space in front of him to take that ball inside if he kept himself on side.
Lee Miller nodding on towards Darren Mackey. Lee Miller and release Mackey again, but using his arms illegally to try and wrestle Martin Di Michelis out the way.
And you see Di Michelis trying to protect that ball, playing strong here. And is there a pull on the ball or on the arm here of Di Michelis? Hard to tell, not much to it, but enough for the referee to blow the whistle. I think these direct balls in the air continue to cause problems in the back four, and I think perhaps maybe why this game's a bit chaotic, at least by the standards of Bayern Munich.
shot on goal, which isn't enough to test Jamie Langfield.
Well, it really isn't this time around, but look at Josh Walker here. He's got to continue running. He's trying to get there, maybe overplayed it. And once again, the two central midfielders playing very, very deep. I'm not sure there is a reason. You can have one of the back four, one of the center halves to pressure that ball and step up. But when the ball is initially in the center of the midfield, I think that's when the pressure from Aberdeen has to come. That space is allowed by Aberdeen at the moment. Keeping them in their own half right now, and it's fine to play those long balls and try to chase it. It has worked on that second goal. Just not sure if you can survive like this 45 minutes.
Full on the scene again, trying to release his midfield partner in crime, Zé Roberto. Just a tad too strong. The through ball. Tony is the pivot. Retrieved again by Ottel, and now Schweinsteiger with the overlap arriving, which he declines to utilize. Instead is Philip Lahm who joins the build-up. Aberdeen not panicking defensively. Was smothered by Lee Mayer. It's Alex McLeish. He installed as Birmingham City manager. Of course, he has one of his players in Sone Aluko to cast his eyes over.
Well, he's got to like what he's seen so far right now. I mean, probably clearly the best player on the pitch for Aberdeen.
McLeish, part of that famous night 25 years ago. Incidentally, were 2-1 down in that game and came back to win it 3-2. I'll be hoping it's not a mirror image of that 25 years on in Pittodrie. Lahm's cross is met by Considine.
Continues to be patient in their build-up and sticking to the game plan. I think you got to play to your strength, as I mentioned, as far as Aberdeen's concerned.
Making further inroads. Ottel's little jab almost fell for Schweinsteiger. Now Jensen. Munich circling the wagons here. Oh, it's handball that's been given, is it? Zé Roberto appealing. A shocked reaction from the crowd and the Aberdeen players. But Bayern Munich have been handed a route back into this game. And it's Iturralde Gonzalez who's handing out a booking too.
I tell you what, they weren't given the benefit of the doubt early in the first minute of the game on a very similar situation. Let's see what happened here and how clear that is as Roberto plays their cross. And let's see, you're supposed to keep your arms. I tell you, that's very close. No different than the one in the first minute that we thought it was clearly a handball on Ottel in that situation. As you see Roberto here, I mean, it's ball to him. Oof, I'll tell you. It looks much better on this one. I'll tell you, it's a penalty, but so should be the first one in the first minute, not given to Aberdeen.
So it's Hamid Altintop who has the responsibility for the Bavarian Giants of holding them level. Altintop, it's saved, but the rebound is put home. Joy turns to despair for Aberdeen. How cruel the game can be, but Bayern Munich have hauled themselves back on level terms.
Well, Adrian, that's just hard on the goalkeeper, isn't it? Always difficult to stop those from the spot right there, as you see it. Langfield, not the best stuff from Altintop. It has to be said, read him well, and as you see, there is a reaction there. They just couldn't get there in time. I don't think it was ball watching here. As you see, 3-4 Aberdeen players following on the play, and maybe if Langfield played that ball to the side a little bit, that could have made a difference, although you can't fault him for that, really. Just reading here, probably happy to stop that initial shot. As you see, Diamond desperately trying to slide and get that ball out of harm's way, just not able to get there in time.
Jamie Langfield not seeing fortune smile on him with the rebound going right back to Altintop. So for the second time in what is rapidly becoming an absorbing cup tie, Bayern Munich have hauled themselves back. signs were there. They really were circling the wagons right from the off in this second half. Yellow card for Lee Mayer in the aftermath of the equaliser. Ottel. No foul given. It's free waving play on. Lucio with another awkward bouncing ball to deal with. This time taking care of business emphatically. Still a Bayern player down. It was Altintop.
Just getting cut there. Very little contact, but once again, you see that handball here. I don't think you can deny there was one as that ball's coming across. You're not supposed to have your arms right there. I think he recognized the fact. I suppose it's so similar to the first one that you have to ask questions. There was no doubt in my mind that Ottel handled the ball, and on the same side, in a very similar situation, the referee makes two different decisions.
It's Alan Maybury, the Irish international fullback. Just joined during the winter break on loan from Leicester City. There's another of those on-loan players, Aluko, trying to kickstart his and his team's second half. Roberto herring onto possession there as the loose ball presented itself. Michaelis from Ottel. Swift combination of passes. The German league leaders, it's Philipp Lahm. Jose Roberto, Luca Toni is there. Is connected with Ottel. A lot of work to do for Ottel. Crowded out in the end. Rampaging challenge from Di Michaelis. Sense of injustice is growing a little around Pittodrie as another decision goes Bayern's way.
The supporters are picking up on it right now. I think it's going to be difficult. We'll see who's going to keep their nerve here, because anything can happen in a situation like this.
Altintop. Dangerous looking cross, but now the ironic cheers for Andries Ottel being called for a handball.
Even the referee felt like he had to give it very, very close once again, but got himself a couple of cheers here.
Part of the Bayern Munich youth system that's also produced Philipp Lahm and Bastian Schweinsteiger in this side. Jensen running into resistance from Barry Nicholson. To keep hold of possession there, Luca Toni.
Oh, he's a handful, such a smart player, as you see it. I mean, doesn't do a lot of running, but knows exactly where he needs to be. Strong enough to hold on to the ball. A handful in the air, obviously. Just the fact that he's tall doesn't mean that you have to be good in the air. And I look at somebody like Peter Crouch, and he's a great example. But what a player that is, Luca Toni. Perhaps that explains why he scores so many goals.
Prolific doesn't even begin to describe it. Jose Roberto. And across the face of goal for Altintop to give chase. We've reached the hour mark. Aberdeen pegged back, but can they start to exert themselves again?
I think they'll have another goal. There's got to be a moment, another 10 or 15 minutes of pressure from Aberdeen, and I think they have to take chances. I think if you look at the score on paper, Bayern Munich going away, scoring 2 goals, of course they will be the favourites here, regardless of the score. Even if Aberdeen get the third one, you'd have to imagine that scoring 1 goal back in Munich will put them through. So I think at this point, obviously a lot of pride here, good crowd, they're up for it, and I think Aberdeen will have to take some chances.
It's often a raw and uncomfortable place to come and play, no matter what the illustrious reputation of the opposition might be. This ground just some 200 yards from the North Sea. It's a stoppage here involving Luca Toni and Xander Diamond.
There's clash of heads, isn't it? See it here, both players going for the ball. No problems with arms, no elbows there, but I just think Diamond came worst of it.
To give Diamond some credit, he's managed to subdue Luca Toni for large swathes of the game. Toni instrumental in Bayern Munich's first goal with a flick on, but other than that, not too many telling contributions. The Italian talisman. Travelling fans from Bavaria. Jimmy Calderwood and his staff will be working feverishly to try and ensure Xander Diamond can continue. That's Jimmy Nicol alongside him. Calderwood, who's been in charge 4 years now. At Aberdeen, spent a large part of his playing and managing career in Holland. Lemaire. Jensen. Made awkward for him by Barry Nicholson.
Bayern Munich has done a very good job in slowing the tempo of this game, Adrian, a little bit. And of course, as we mentioned, it was going to be difficult to put the sort of pressure that Aberdeen did in the first 20-25 minutes to sustain that for longer periods of time. Obviously, you have to have that moment of possession, which Aberdeen rarely has. But I still would continue playing those long balls if indeed Aberdeen can bring 2 or 3 players, because in my opinion, Lucio and Demi Kelly's have looked very, very uncomfortable by their standards tonight.
Aluko. It's been kept quieter in the second half. Hasn't seen nearly as much of the ball as the first half, where he was perhaps the most influential figure on the pitch. Now the chase is on. It's closer. Back it goes to Lahm, and a great service, but the header back off the post wouldn't have counted even if it had gone in. Ottel just behind the last defender.
Well, great build-up here, and must be offside, or is it really? As you see it here, that's very, very close to me. I'm not sure. I thought maybe he pushed off just before that, but that to me, well, looks onside. As close, it drops this ball. Altintop plays it across, and that to me looked even.
Very, very close, wasn't it? Andreas Ottel still looking for his first ever goal in European club competition. Positive run for Aberdeen, provided by Severin. Miller's layup. Shot charge down, but retrieved by Walker. Aberdeen starting to ask some questions now for almost the first time in the second half.
Positive. We haven't seen much of a combination play as far as Aberdeen are concerned. There was a good sequence there on that left-hand side, and at the very least, we have Munich on their heels for just a little bit.
Roberto. Schweinsteiger with provided by Janssen. Only half dealt with. The follow-up from Elton John. Bouncing invitingly in the penalty area. And all it needed was one final touch.
Well, they look very dangerous with every touch to the ball right now as that ball comes on the bounce. Look at Luca Toni here. Maybe if he anticipated that a little bit sooner, he would provide that all-important touch to put Bayern Munich on top. Much went into thinking of Altintop on that shot. Didn't really get hold of it, to be fair.
20 minutes gone in the second half. Vitordri. Looks like Lucas Podolski will be the next switch for Ottmar Hitzfeld. And look at this, it's Zé Roberto who he's going to replace. Podolski still really trying to find his groove with Bayern Munich after such an explosive start to his career with FC Cologne.
And this is going to be interesting because it seems to me that Bayern Munich is going to go to 4-3-3. I would have to imagine that Podolski is going to be playing on that left-hand side. I think they've established much superior in the midfield, and I think they can deal with it with three, and that just provides some more problems for Aberdeen.
Podolski does have 2 goals for UEFA Cup appearances this season, and he's immediately fouled. A welcome to the game foul by Alan Maybury.
See, here's his first touch. Pretty good quality in bringing that ball down. Again, just loses balance here. I don't see much foul in that play.
Jimmy Calderwood deciding the time is ripe for his first switch. Another Englishman is on the pitch for Aberdeen. Steve Lovell replacing Darren Mackey. Steve Lovell, the 26-year-old who's played some football with Portsmouth and Bournemouth, also with Dundee.
Nothing cynical about the substitution from Aberdeen as well. I think Calderwood recognizes the fact that there's going to have to be support for Liam Miller. Of course, Aluka will provide that from wide, likes to come in as he's doing right now. And I think that goes to show that Aberdeen are looking for that third one.
Benson. Podolski had continued his run. Diamond across to meet him. And Xander Diamond winning that duel rather emphatically as well.
And just committing himself here, not allowing Podolski to make that cross right here. Actually not even having to touch that ball. And Podolski took it for granted, perhaps knew that that sliding tackle and Diamond was going to get a touch on that ball.
Munich again, but not for long. Aluko is back to intervene. Quickness of mind and feet from Sonny Aluko. So much of it in the first half, but over 20 minutes remaining at Vitordri. Deadlocked at 2 apiece. Aberdeen might have taken this had you offered it to them before the game. Heading back to Munich, level pegging. Now this is Lee Miller. And it goes to Aluko. Full ball from Aluko, came to nothing. period of the game, this Janusz. Neither side really is dominant at the moment.
No, but I think credit's got to go to Aberdeen in this situation because they decided to play a little bit, and sometimes you have to mix it up. They have been pretty direct, and they've paid dividends. There's no question about that. But as you see it now, they're not afraid to possess a little bit, and I think that's good because at the very least it stops the rhythm of Bayern Munich, and maybe once again they'll find that opening, even if it's against the run of play, and maybe that allows you to bring those extra players into the attack.
Is the conduit. Podolski, as you suspected, settling into a role on the left-hand side. It was Closer who was the intended target for that through ball. Tough to explain, really, the drop-off in terms of Lucas Podolski's performance over the last year and a half.
It really is, just hasn't settled in Munich. And you would have thought with the addition of Miroslav Klose that would have been easier. If you remember from the World Cup, I mean, they worked together tremendously. Obviously share the same background, being Polish, at times speak Polish on the field. Obviously it's to their advantage, and so it is interesting. I think obviously Luca Toni coming into the game has changed that because right away he adjusted and performed.
Well, Lovell has done well here for Aberdeen to pick out a Luco. Luco trying to pave the way for another Aberdeen assault. Back to Alan Mabry it goes. Mabry, just a scent of the goal through the air, deciding to hit the jackpot.
He looked nervous a bit on this approach as that ball gets away from him. Here comes the pressure from a Bayern Munich player he knew he had to get rid of quickly, and that was the end result.
Irish fullback who first landed English shores with Leeds United. Such a stalwart Leeds when they made that run to the Champions League at semi-final. Wasn't a regular contributor in terms of playing time. Field. Like to see his defenders push a little further up the field, reading his body language correctly. Hitzfeld has seen his side just for a little lull over the last few minutes.
It is an important season for Hitzfeld, as it will be his last. Obviously, Jürgen Klinsmann coming in, and I think still the first place in the Bundesliga, obviously an opportunity to win the UEFA Cup.
The thought is perhaps that Hitzfeld will take over the reins of Kobe Kuhn's vacated seat in the Swiss national team. After Euro 2008, of course. Crossfield ball hit by Josh Walker. Bayern quickly have it back. Steve Lovell is there to intervene. As they have a rather more famous number 9 out on the pitch, Luca Toni. He'll be leading the line for Italy in Austria and Switzerland. In the last 16 of the UEFA Cup that's at stake. Tonight and next week the return leg in Munich a week from tonight. Most of the clubs already know who they'll be facing in the following round. It's the winner of the Anderlecht and Bordeaux tie.
Josh Walker and Scott Servant look spent to me, especially Walker, as you see it nowhere near. Once again dropped off a little bit tighter. No reason to chase shadows, just shift from side to side.
referees all nod down. Certainly into the right spot, but no one was arriving. Certainly tired limbs prevailing out there.
Have an extra player in midfield clearly, but I think we have to give a lot of credit to Otto because he's been influential in my opinion on both sides of the ball. Very good defensively to get that initial ball, to obviously play make a little bit, especially with three in the middle. I mean, that falls on his lap. Bastian Schweinsteiger, of course, roams just a little bit, and Altintop stays for the most part on that right hand side, but having an extra player in that midfield should be enough for Aberdeen to at least stop Bayern Munich in that part of the field. It really hasn't happened. It didn't work that way so far for Aberdeen, and as you see closer here, dangerous play, although it looks to me like he's trying to pull out of it.
Well, they've played a lot of football recently, Aberdeen. Under Diamond trying to rally his troops. Scottish Cup game, a Scottish League Cup game. League defeat to Celtic over the weekend.
I think they have Celtic coming up once again, and here's the depth or lack of it, and especially in that midfield. Such important players, as I mentioned, Derek Young and Richard Foster would probably come in handy at this stage to be played in the midfield, and unfortunately have a lot of young players and a lot of new players.
And remember, still relatively fresh after that 6-week break the Bundesliga has. Played a couple of games since then. They're on the move. Lam looking to cut it back against the grain. Closer on the turn. But the Aberdeen defence congealing there and is coming together to thwart the danger.
Here's that movement. Once again, Schweinsteiger comes in, plenty of space. You can just see it, the Lam right there, a little bit quicker.
All of a sudden, at the other end, it was Lovell who was bursting through. Englishman has done enough to win a corner for Aberdeen. It'll be their first of the second half.
It was a good flick on by Miller once again in between two Bayern players, but not a lot of options are really left alone by himself. But at the very least, here's a set piece that certainly Aberdeen perhaps could take advantage of.
Forward comes the heavy artillery. Diamond. Considine from the back. Josh Walker, the goal scorers, to serve it in, but not the really telling quality that Aberdeen needed, and an easy cut out for Luca Toni. Toni bursting on and continuing to barrel his way through. Luca Toni still going. Outside is Podolski, and a good save by Jamie Langfield. Wasn't going to be beaten down low by Podolski.
A little bit of strength from Luca Toni, as you see Podolski here keeps himself on side right there. That first touch could have been a little bit more in front of him, as he probably knows it, but I think it all started with Josh Walker. You know, we talk about set pieces, but the quality of it, that almost initiated a counterattack. I mean, at the very least, you got to put it up high in front and give yourselves an opportunity to come back.
As it was, Diamond and Considine were left stranded upfield. Only half away. Maybury completing the job for Aberdeen. Big climb from Lee Miller to no avail. It's the ugly stuff at the moment as the ball just goes up in the air, and then the header back to Langfield had just enough on it to elude Luca Toni. Nicely waited if Aluko can sprint onto it, but there was no way around Lucio. In front of his watching manager tonight, Alex McLeish. Fine performance from Sonny Aluko. And don't forget Bolton against Atletico Madrid. Dave Roberts and Robbie Mustoe will be the men to bring you the commentary from the Reebok. That's coming up as soon as this game is finished. 10 minutes away. minutes away from heading back to Munich in a week's time. All square. Michaelis. Aimless really ball into the Aberdeen penalty area. Jimmy Calderwood continuing to direct traffic from his technical area. Spent almost the entire game on his feet. In stark contrast to Otmar Hitzfeld. Confirmation of that last Bayern Munich substitution. Kind of seen Jan Schlaudraff has come on for a relatively rare outing. Schlaudraff also signed a couple of summers ago. Alemannia Aachen.
Bayern Munich has the tendency of getting the best players away from teams. Of course, we talked about Klose, we've talked about Lukas Podolski, same thing with Schlaudraff. Now, Tim Borowski, you can argue if he's the best Werder Bremen player, but certainly very, very influential. Will be coming over in the summer. And the transfer has already been announced, obviously. But still a close race, given the fact that, look at the players that they're missing. We mentioned some, Ribéry, of course, not being able to play. Was it only 3 points difference? And of course Bayern Munich with an opportunity against Werder Bremen last weekend. And they managed to draw at home.
And it's a result that left both sides claiming a moral victory. She allowed Schalke to creep back into the picture.
Said Adrian that once again Bayern Munich is underperforming. I know it's a little bit different. You mentioned 4th place out of the Champions League last season with all the players that they've signed, the quality of the players, just 3 points away on top. In my opinion, I think it makes some of the people in Munich nervous.
They got off to an explosive start, didn't they? But there was that dip in form just before the Christmas break, and rumours of some unrest in the dressing room. Oliver Kahn being particularly outspoken once again.
I think there's also a reason, as you see Isfal Janssen coming in from behind with a bit of a push. There's Lovell trying to get away from him. I think there's a reason why Jürgen Klinsmann will be coming to the side. Very rarely you see a situation like this in the mid-season, although it's more prevalent in the Bundesliga than any place else.
Klinsmann looming large. Will it be a return to the FC Hollywood days, you wonder, for Bayern Munich? Aberdeen determined to finish with a flourish. However it ends, I have to say they've acquitted themselves very well here tonight. As the long throw comes in, Diamond's not on. Down into the arms of Rensing.
I think the supporters can appreciate the effort. There's no question about that. As you see that long throw in coming from behind, just couldn't generate enough power to worry Rensing here. But clearly, when you look at golf and talent, the budgets and everything else you may want to look at, it still comes down to the game. And on any given night, you never know. And I suppose with still 6 minutes to go at this moment, that 2-2, I think that's positive.
Going to send numbers forward in abundance here. A long free kick from Considine. Walker losing out in the duel with Schlaudraff. Now Altidop on his way. He's been a constant menace for Bayern. Podolski. It was an errant pass and then a foul to compound the error. midfield. And they gave Lovell and Miller something to chew on. But Bayern have it with Andreas Ockel and Lucio. They won't hesitate to hit it long. Luca Toni is underneath this for Bayern Munich. Toni away from Diamond, but not Considine.
We've talked about the job that Diamond has done on Luca Toni so far, with the exception of that one flick, and I think he's been superb.
And now a flag up as Bayern attempted to build quickly here.
A bit lazy here on Luca Toni, as you see it here, just trying to get himself onside. Once he realized that there was an opportunity there for him, and assistant referee exactly what he needed to be spot on.
Put water break for Aluko. And another switch with Josh Walker finally running out of gas in the centre of the Aberdeen midfield. Comes Karim Tuzani, 27-year-old Dutch midfielder.
No surprise there. I mean, Josh Walker, massive job in the first half, running box to box, really. And of course, that superb goal put Aberdeen ahead. Tuzani coming in, more of a defender, but I just got a feeling that he's going to slot in the midfield right now. Is there not much to choose from with all the injuries?
Just his second appearance in the competition this season. Tuzani. Steve Lovell. Almost running himself into trouble. Miller has battled away gamely against Lucio and Di Michaelis without any great reward. But the reward for Aberdeen will be something to work with, something to chew on, going back to Bavaria in a week's time. Luca Toni is loving the attention, both good and bad.
Yeah, I suppose endear himself to the supporters here, but yeah, I suppose if it stays 2-2, it'll be a tall order still, I think. Obviously, we know that Aberdeen will have to score, and other than the two scoring chances, maybe another half chance here and there. Really, they couldn't build up anything meaningful with 2 or 3 or 4 players, and you have to imagine it's going to be that much more difficult in Munich.
And a shot from the edge of the area. It's enough to test Langfield. Schweinsteiger on the scene.
Just coming inside. Schweinsteiger just letting that ball come across his body. In the end, he realized there was pressure coming, and just looking for that perfect preparation before he took that shot. But again, marking the anniversary here. I think if it stays 2-2, many supporters here, and maybe perhaps some players will walk away happy knowing who they were up against.
Top. He certainly played his part tonight for Bayern Munich, and almost making a telling final contribution. Toni. Well, Diamond for once lost his bearings, stood on the ball, and Toni was presented with a chance to win it for the visitors.
Just clumsy, almost gave it away. He's taken just about everything away from him, as you see it here initially, trying to clear that ball, missing the ball in the end, but Langfield bails him out.
Perhaps smiling on Aberdeen, but I have to say they've earned some. Severin involved in an incident in midfield with Lucas Podolski, who is going to get booked. Chance for Aberdeen again to launch a missile into the Bayern Munich penalty area. Lofted delivery to the edge of the box. Huge jump from Lucio, just to calmly clear the danger. Nearly a minute into stoppage time at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 2, Bayern Munich 2. Lam working his way to the byline and then beyond it by a narrow margin.
It's a positive adjustment, but it has to be said on the right-hand side. Lendl didn't play well. I think it was good going forward, but obviously Luka caused him some problems, and I think Philip Lam going well both ways. Clearly those attacks in the second half, we haven't seen a Luka being as effective, although didn't see much ball, and I just wonder how much that early pressure for the 25-30 minutes took out of Aberdeen.
Illegal jump from Luca Toni. That's not quite the epic result of 1983 repeated, but it's not that far short of it. Still leaves Aberdeen with a huge amount to do in a week's time. They are alive in the tie.
Absolutely, show full commitment. There's no question about that, and it's still in the balance. I mean, it's not inconceivable that somehow, if they play so well, maybe steal that one on the counter-attack at some place. At least you have a reason to go back there. It could have been all different, because you have to say that on surface here, I think Bayern Munich a much better team in all aspects of the game. Just sometimes you can't take away the heart and commitment.
The German Giants certainly haven't had things all their own way tonight, or indeed on their travels in general in the UEFA Cup this season. Despite being behind twice here, I feel they've done enough to in the driver's seat. With Anderlecht or Bordeaux awaiting. It's all over at Pittodrie. 2-2 is how it finishes. Handshakes between Ottmar Hitzfeld and Jimmy Calderwood. So they will meet again in a week's time with the tie still in the balance. The 2 goals from Maluko and Walker, twice giving Aberdeen the advantage, but the replies coming from Miroslav Klose. And then early in the second half, it was Alpin Top after his own penalty kick had been saved by Langfield, who put home the rebound. So that was all the scoring. 2-2 it finished, and we'll be back to wrap things up after this quick break.